All right, guys, what is up? I have a new video for you. This was a case that you guys sent me a lot of emails requesting to give my opinion on. But also on top of that, my children were sending me TikToks really upset about what was happening in regards to the Tristyn Bailey case. So if you're not familiar, Tristyn Bailey is a 13-year-old cheerleader in Florida who was murdered on Mother's Day by her 14-year-old neighbor classmate. Unfortunately, the social media trolls of the world have decided to try and turn this into some sort of game and add extra on top. Like, it's already salacious enough. This is already horrible. A 14-year-old murdered a 13-year-old. And from what we figured out so far, for no reason. But on top of that, people are now making these campaigns and Instagram accounts and just trying to get attention by sharing fake and horrible information and insulting the victim and just everything you can think of. So I wanted to go ahead and cover this case in order to help preserve the memory of Tristyn Bailey by explaining what actually happened, and then share what appears to be the wishes of her family going forward, and then talk about the legal aspect of the trial, which will take place for the person who is responsible for taking Tristyn's life. So let me go ahead and tell you a little bit about Tristyn first. Side note really quick, because I noticed that I keep looking up. I got a new monitor and a new camera, and it's just that's all it is. I just keep looking. That's why I'm looking up and down. So I did go ahead and watch the entire celebration of life service that was done for Tristyn. With her family was there, her prior coaches were there. It was very endearing to see the immense amount of outpouring of love that there was for Tristyn. So here's the thing. I have a feeling that in the future, her mother, Stacy, is very dedicated to releasing a lot of information about Tristyn. And you can tell that she's going to either write a book or she will start a memorial or some sort of a tribute. Like, she's very dedicated. She even said that in the memorial service that she is dedicated to sharing Tristyn's name and memory. So I have a feeling we will learn a lot about Tristyn. Let me tell you what I gathered from everyone that spoke. She was the youngest of 5 children, and she was the baby, and she made sure everyone knew it, and she was very much an attention seeker and loud and bubbly and a very, very in-your-face, sweet little girl. And it's hard. This 13, she's 13, okay? But even as her mother explained it, she got along so well with her friends that she was like the little friend to everyone. She was also the keeper of all the gossip and loved to share it with everyone. I don't know if she shared it amongst her friends or just every time she got home, but it seemed like she became that girl that even became friends with her mom's friends. So she'd be at school and making all the little friends there, but then she's going back to her mom's friends and they're all chatting amongst each other. And I know this happens to a lot of young girls when they are active in competitive sports. They start bonding with older girls, the coaches, and they build that kind of relationship. So if you're familiar with that type of girl, then you kind of understand what I'm saying. And I do look forward to seeing what her mother and her family share about her. They refer to themselves as the Bailey 7. This broke my heart. So my family, it's an LOL, but we were the Jackson 7. It never dawned on me what it would be like if you lost one of. And so for them, they said no matter what, they're going to remain the Bailey 7. That just broke my heart. I will make sure to link that memorial down for you guys below to watch, because in all honesty, I do feel that would give you the best sense of who Tristyn was, who she was as a person, and the immense amount of love and support that she did have. I will tell you, she was 13. She was a 7th grader at the Patriot Oaks Academy in St. John's, Florida. Not only was she on her school cheer team, where she actually was a co-captain with her best friend, which was like a big deal for her to be able to be the co-captain, but she also was cheering for 2 different gyms. Originally, she cheered at the Zone gym, and her goal was to reach Summit. I'm not sure if you're familiar, and in every area it's different. Here in my area, we have a very big gym that makes it to Summit and is very well known, and so I know a lot about it from the little girls that have been friends with my kids, and so it's a big deal. This is something they practice all year round for. It's a sport. It's a dedicated sport. There are lots of injuries. There are lots of hard work, lots of late night. This is a very, very competitive sport. tumbling, stunting, and I do believe that she was a base. So the peers that the groups that she was in was usually the 9 to 13-year-olds. So she's going to be the base. She's lifting those girls up, the littler ones, and throwing them in the air. Her goal, according to her mother, was to make it to Summit. Last year, her gym, the Zone, had made it to Summit. However, due to COVID, that didn't happen. And then this year, the gym she was at, Infinity, got their bid to go to Summit. And so she did compete at Summit the week before she was murdered. Yes, she was murdered. This little girl was murdered. So let me give you the timeline. On Mother's Day, May 9th of 2021, yes, this year, her mother and father went into her room around 10 a.m. expecting to greet her for Mother's Day and found that Tristyn was not in her bed, which was absolutely not expected. They immediately searched for her, could not find her, and quickly phoned it into the police and filed her as a missing person. The community immediately sprang into action. These are all cheer girls. They all know each other. They're all friends. They've got cell phones. They've got laptops. They're in communication. And they instantly all put out an alert and they all start looking. Everyone starts checking all of their ring alarms, their surveillance cameras that they can find. And they quickly get to a surveillance camera in the local community center. This area that they are in of St. John, Florida, is an affluent area. It's very beautiful. I believe it's gated. I'm not 100% sure that it's fully gated, but this is a very beautiful area and it has its own community center. And inside of this community center, they have cameras. So they check the cameras there and they find that on the camera there is a male and a female walking across the parking lot towards a neighborhood at about 1:15 in the morning. They do later identify that this is Tristyn walking with a male. And they identify that these two walk into this neighborhood and then walk into a wooded area. There is no action on the camera for quite some time. And then about 2 hours later, at 3:27 a.m., they see that only the male emerges from the wooded area and walks out and back across the parking lot and back towards their home. And they do identify that that kid is that male. I am so uncomfortable with this, guys. I'm going to mess up. I'm going to call him a kid. I'm going to call him a man. I'm going to call him a guy. I'm going to call him a dude. I am 14 years old. So this 14-year-old male walks out of the wooded area and back to his home, and they do identify him as being Aiden Fucci. Police are able to use different surveillance and everything, and they figure out that this is Aiden that was walking with Tristyn. They're getting to him and they go to interview him. They put him in the back of the police car to talk to him, and all of these things are happening at once. All the neighbors are out looking. Everyone is trying to find Tristyn. They cannot find Tristyn. At 6 p.m. on that night, right around the time that Aiden is being questioned by police, a jogger, but a neighbor, a friend who was out trying to help. They knew that they were trying to find Tristyn. They knew that she was missing, and they thought, since I'm going on my jog, I might as well look around the area. And unfortunately, they came across Tristyn's body. The first thing we want to do right now is to take away the TikTok, appears to be more the TikTok craze. According to the police, Tristyn's body was found fully clothed, and there is no evidence of a sexual assault, okay? So just want to put that there. There is no reason to add what is not known, and there's no reason to have that conversation unless it's had. I don't know what the salaciousness of it is adding that. It's awkward and weird. She was viciously stabbed to death. We don't need anything more added, okay? It doesn't make it worse. It doesn't mean he's more of a bad guy. It's all bad. It's horrible. So that is according to police, and they have since reiterated that fact in order to try to hinder these internet rumors that she was assaulted in that way. She was found fully clothed. Now, at that time, Aiden has been picked up by police, and at this time, they're still figuring everything out. Like, the body's just about to be found. They're figuring out that she was with him that night, and they're just wanting to question him. So the first thing they do is they go to his house, they grab him, and they ask him to come down to the police department. What I gather happened, because everyone was asking, why the hell did this kid have a cell phone on him? He wasn't under arrest yet. They're just taking him to the police department. So they're like, hey, hop in the back. We're going to take you. They're probably talking to his mom. I don't know, getting releases signed, whatever they needed to do in order to coordinate taking him down to the police department to question a 14-year-old, because he's 14. They can't just slam him in the back, arrest him up. I mean, I know they do with some kids, but that's not how they're supposed to do it. So they're following protocol in this case. So they load him up, and he's in the back seat of the car, and he decides to post a Snapchat of himself. Let me just put it up for you. Prior to Tristyn's body being found and knowing that he is responsible for it, because he is, one would think, why did he do that? Was he just trying to get attention? Does he just want to be involved? Or is he trying to make it look like, I have nothing to do with this. Like, look at me. I'm just like, obviously, I don't know what's going on. Why would I post a picture if I did it? Those question my mind. And then there is the theory that he is a cold, heartless wannabe, like, look at me, I'm a badass. I don't know yet, though. I tried to do a little bit of digging, and it's way, way too early. It's going to take a long time for us to know, because there's going to be two theories that come out. Either he is a messed up kid who has some like weird, he was like on his way to becoming a serial killer and nobody knew, or everyone did know and then that's going to come out, or he had a sick fetish, or she said something to him, she knew a secret. So many possible motives can come out. Maybe there was an attempt for an assault that didn't lead in it, anywhere, so that's why there wasn't one that took place. All of that's going to come out, but at the end of the day, what really matters is how Tristyn's family is dealing with this. There is a petition out in order to encourage the district attorney to charge Aiden Fucci as an adult, as he is 14 years old, and what the crime that he committed is very obviously an adult crime. He horrifically and viciously stabbed a child. But that is for everyone's own decision. I know that there's been times in my life, please understand, I am not saying this to this case, I'm just talking. There have been cases that I have looked at now where the person that committed the crime when they were, 13, 14, 15, and it's been 30, 40 years, and I, watched their videos and their documentaries of who they are in prison and how regretful and remorseful they were for their crime. And I don't, will we all feel that way in 30, 40 years? Probably not. Who knows who he will be? He'll have a chance for parole way, way, way in the future. And there is some sort of remorse. And it turns out that he seriously regretted this, and it was just this bad thing that happened. Then maybe way, 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 way in the future, that will be up to some parole board to decide. And her family will have a say in that. They will have a part in that. And it will be up to them to decide what they feel. I just think it's interesting the way that people get so gusto with pushing, like, he should be tried for this and this and that. And it's like, you got to remember that it's what the family is going to want. There's not a chance in the world that this kid is going to be walking free anytime soon. And whatever does happen in the long, long, long future, that will be decided through the court system. Because I have a feeling he'll get tried as an adult, and it'll be at least 25 years before he gets to see a parole. Just my thinking on what will eventually happen. So let me give you the timeline of what's happening with the trial so far. They have charged him with second-degree murder. First-degree murder, I believe, would require premeditation. Now, here's the deal, because everyone's immediately like, no, change the charge, change the charge. Slow down. I understand why you're saying that. The judge has given them 21 days where they are holding him in a juvenile facility in order for the police to do their investigation. Normally, when police make an arrest of a suspect, they've done a little bit of legwork. It's not the second that the body's found and the person's in the back of the cop car, straight to the police station, straight to arrest, straight to arraignment 2 days later. So this has happened very fast. And so they do have that 21 days to get their ducks in a row. So he's just being held on what he needs to be held on for now. So they will determine if it will be first degree or second degree, and that will determine on what they figure out about what actually happened. As far as his defense, he was represented by an attorney that his mother and stepfather and father did hire for him. However, that attorney has filed to be removed. Does seem to be that it has to do with a monetary thing. An attorney for the suspect is highly expensive, and so they are claiming that they are unable to afford that attorney, and so they are going to apply for a public defender. So that's all happening in the 21 days, determining whether or not he will be tried as an adult or as a child is being determined, and as well as the venue. So the St. John area that they live in does not even have a juvenile facility. So he's being housed in a juvenile facility, I think just in the same county. And so he is being housed there at least until the end of May, and then they will return. So they haven't actually even set a court date yet, but that's when they'll return to court, and that's when everything will kind of get ironed out and everything will be presented. And we might know by then why. And then as far as all of the weird accounts online that are making claims that it was because she basically saying it was her fault, or that she didn't do something, or that she should have done something, or she dressed a certain way or something, all of those are being looked into, and those people will probably be prosecuted for some of the threats that they've made online. Don't think just because the police don't come knocking on your door the second you type something mean about something online that they can't show up a year later, okay? Like, watch what you're saying online. Watch the things that you're, threatening, because it can come back. It doesn't just stop because it's like, oh, sorry, I said that 2 months ago. It doesn't matter if that's when the attorney gets around to it, or the district attorney or the police gets around to processing you. That's when it will happen. So they'll deal with these people in time, but it does not appear that anyone else was involved. It does not appear that there were any witnesses to this incident. It does not appear that there was any, assault that had taken place with other people. But police will keep that in mind and will consider if there were any accomplices after the fact. So did he go brag to anyone? If he did, that person, you need to come forward. You don't want to wait for the police to find that out. So those are the kind of things they're going to be looking at. So what can we do to help? In the memorial, it was very obvious that Tristyn's family has a lot of love for her and wants to share that kind of love of the person that she was with the world. So they do have a GoFundMe that far surpassed anything they asked for, and they are going to use all of that for memorials. So they'll do something with that money in order to memorialize Tristyn's honor. So if you are so inclined, I will drop that link down below. There is also the change.org petition that is below, and that is your decision. Everyone is different on how they feel about whether or not a 14-year-old should be tried as an adult or not. It's a hard one, because if you just ask me, do I think a 14-year-old should be charged as an adult, I would say no. But if you ask me, should Aiden Fucci be charged as an adult, I say yes. I know. It just is what it is, because when you do those kinds of things, it's hard not to feel that way. So that is why we have the justice systems that we do. So hopefully it will prevail for her. I will keep you guys up to date if I do find out any more. And if you guys, drop any comments down below on anything I didn't know. And just remember, at the end of the day, when we do these cases, when it is technically solved, we want to make sure we're honoring the memory of the victim. This is about Tristyn. She was a lovely girl. She seemed to be a leader. She was ambitious. She was a go-getter. She did not quit. She is obviously someone who had a bright light in her soul and was going to do amazing things in life. I love that they giggled about her being a little gossiper and how she would just go to everyone and was... I love it. They're little stories about her just to show how much they adored her and loved her. And when you have so much support in your life, it's what we want for every child to have that much support in their life. And so it's very obvious she was going to do amazing things, and she was robbed of that. And that is the part of the story that sucks. And it really, really sucks to see a bunch of idiot asshats trying to make fun of it on social media. We as humanity should be better than that. So that's the video I have for you guys. If you guys can think of anything else, or you see any other way that we can honor Tristyn or her family or help out with anything, then please do let me know. And that is all I have for you guys on this video. I have another one that I'm working on. I do have a couple things going. All right, guys, my camera literally cut off right as I was ending. So I think everything went well. I think it looks good. We'll find out when I edit it. So let me know what you guys think. There's like lights everywhere. I've got soundproofing. I'm hoping it sounds better, but also part of me thinks it looks dark. I also feel like I'm glowing. You guys don't know this, but like I'm so blind, I can't see. But see, I can't wear my glasses, so anyways. All right, I say this at the end of every one of my videos. Hug your babies and hug your loves. Life is literally precious. Enjoy every minute of every day. Do not take anything for granted. I love you, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye, guys.
I'm just good at caring too much.